When you look at kindergarten, it's very 21st century. And then for some reason we move into this, you need to be in a box, you need to be in a box. And I love that 21st century learning that we're shifting back toward, no, it's about student exploration and choice, and we can really tailor it to their needs. Bill Jansen, a kindergarten teacher here, does a Lego store on Fridays. And so it's his math lesson. And so the kids have to take a bowl of Legos and they're selling the Legos to their classmates. Then they take those Legos that they've purchased and they make patterns with them. Using that hands-on activity for them to really grasp the concept, to me, is so much more meaningful than saying, here's a worksheet. When I think of a traditional classroom, I think of desks in rows and kids sitting at the desks in rows, working on worksheets, the teacher standing in the front of the room, lecturing at the kids or providing all the information, and the kids are the consumers of that information, but they're just consuming it and regurgitating it. In a 21st century classroom, I see kids sitting all over the room, highly engaged in activity based on passion topics. So they're getting the content through sources and subjects that they really like, that are of interest to them. And then they're not regurgitating, they're creating with the content. We have 3 teachers who embraced the 3 prototypes. We have Will Hart, who's a 2nd grade teacher. We have Lynn Garlock, who teaches 3rd grade, and Tracy Henry, who teaches 4th grade. So they have 3 very different rooms, which is kind of interesting because we get to see how kids respond in each different setting.
In education, we hope at our very best, we want to encourage people to take risks. We want our kids to take risks in their learning. We want teachers to take risks in their teaching. So the teachers that have undertaken this year, I really have the utmost respect for and admiration for them to be bold.
The resistance of us going into a 21st century learning, this whole new paradigm of shift of how we educate, is allowing the kids to accept that failure is all right. Failure is part of life, how you handle failure is as important as how you learn. And if we're trying to teach the kids that failure is all right, we have to model that failure is all right.
Lynn and I talked about that a lot. She was really worried about failing, and when I, as a principal, gave her permission to fail and said, try this. If you fail, what's the worst that can happen? When I go in the room now, I cannot find her anywhere in the room, which is awesome. And I look around, I go, where is she? The kids are all engaged. She's sitting with a group of kids. She's moving around the room. She's not at the whiteboard. She's not at the Elmo. And that's huge because her classroom last year had rows. And this year it's like the kids are on the floor most of the time. So it's been amazing. It's an amazing shift.
The changes in how we utilize space and how we structure learning butts head up with the whole role of the teacher. I am the teacher. I went to school. I am prepared. I am the knowledgeable, the expert in the room, if you will. Well, if I'm not the expert in the room and I'm more of a facilitator or an activator of children's learning, does that mean I'm less significant? I would argue not. I would say you're more important than ever, but it's a different way of being in the classroom.
Honestly, I see in the traditional classroom kids kind of like this learning. They're doing it because they have to, they're learning content, they're regurgitating what they learn. When I go in all 3 of those classrooms, honestly, I never see a bored kid. I never see a kid who doesn't want to be there, and I never see a kid who doesn't like school. That's huge.
They're really right there in there. They're right there in there with their peers, with their teachers. They're talking about things, they're doing things, they're writing. They're active learners, and I think at the very best, that's what we hope for. That's what we strive for.
A lot of teachers are really going out of their shell and trying things. I'm really proud of the fact that they trust that this is something that is important for our kids, and I'm really looking forward to it growing school-wide.
I think it really calls upon all of us to be curious, to be learners, to be asking questions. It really is no longer possible for any of us, myself included, to sit on the sidelines and say, okay, well, you do this in the classroom and you let me know how it goes. I think it's best summed up by saying we are all learners. And I think in this moment, we would be well to really cultivate that sensibility and those habits of mind for all of us.